Okay, here we are at video number 3, and here we have Big Bird. So, the more that I've looked at Big Bird, I love him, but when I first did it, I didn't love him so much because I truly was on the fence about how he looked. I wasn't quite sure if I achieved Big Bird in his true essence, but I gave it my best, and I think that's why I'm so happy with it. So I'm going to show you what I did to achieve texture on Big Bird. I've seen a bunch of videos and people have done all different things. I'm going to share with you how I got texture on Big Bird, and at the end of the day, if it works for you, great. If not, hopefully it inspires you or gets those creative wheels turning, and you'll decide to approach your Big Bird in a different way. And that's the beauty of YouTube. We can see all the many different wonderful ways of achieving the same goal. So this is Big Bird, and as you can see, he has the pink and blue on his eyes, the beak, he has the red mouth, the legs are orange, and his signature purple rings around his legs. Okay, and I just made really big, let me start by saying that I used the same concept to make him that I did with Big Bird and Elmo. And that is simply that I started with a teardrop shape, but because he's taller, I wouldn't say thinner, but he's definitely taller, so his teardrop shape was a lot more elongated than the other two characters. So we started with an elongated teardrop and a round head, the same way Cookie Monster's head looks is exactly how Big Bird's head looks under all of this texture. Instead of a flat, or I should say rounded arm, he has more of a flat, wide arm that you can't see, but you can see his hands here. And again, I used the X-Acto knife to cut out the fingers. And if you're not sure what an X-Acto knife is, here's one here. This is what an X-Acto knife looks like. Okay, so I just used that. Same thing, I used this to create his toes and his fingers. Okay, his beak, I just applied that separately. I'm shocked that it stayed on and didn't fall off, to be honest. But I want to get right to the texture because a lot of people, again, I've seen videos where people have asked, hey, how'd you do that texture? And I personally haven't seen any responses, so I just wanted to share with the YouTube world, cake world, creativity world, how I did it, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Love it, hate it, thumbs up, thumbs down, let me know. So what I used for the texture on his head, and I'm actually going to demonstrate for you as well, is I used a paisley cutter. Now these paisley cutters I actually purchased from lindycakes.com out of the UK, and there are 4 paisley cutters, and there's a really small one, a small one, a medium-sized one, and a large one. So I used the small paisley cutter. You can see that. But I used the small paisley cutter for his head. Now let me just show you what I did, and I'm going to demonstrate for you how I achieved that texture. Now if you notice, he's completely bald. He's gotten a waxing. He's completely bald on the back end, okay? So I don't want this video to be too long, so let me stop looping off and just show you what I did. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, cuticle cutter scissors that you only use for cake decorating. So buy yourself a pair and put them in your cake decorating kit, and you only use these for cake decorating. So I'm going to place these here, actually. Okay, and then we're going to move our Big Bird up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and we'll move this over. Okay, so we have our scissors here and our paisley cutter there. And we'll just take a small, oh wait, I actually rolled some out already. So let's put this back. I'm so not good at these videos. Like, some people do them and everything is just so smooth. I wonder how many takes it took. I don't have time to do takes, as I'm sure no one else does, so maybe they're just really good. So yeah, my videos may be a mess and all over the place, but yeah, sometimes it's just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little piece of this here. Okay, add a small bit of shortening to it. Okay, normally I would take my rings off, but just showing this to you guys, so I'm not going to go all out. It'll just take me longer. Okay, so let's roll out this small piece of fondant. I'm not going to roll it thin, and again, this has the Gumtex Tylose powder. This little tile I'm working on, my son drew the image on here in October of 2010 in 2nd grade, and I like using it when I work on small products. I'm sorry, small projects. Okay, so here we have it, and I've actually rolled it a little too thin, so I'm going to roll that again. Sorry guys, look at my timer here. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, it has a nice thickness to it. All right, I'm going to take my paisley cutter, and I'm going to cut out, for the purpose of this video, let's just cut out 3, okay? I'm going to pull it up, and hopefully you can see that little teardrop. See, it has a point at the end, okay? Now let's get our big bird here. And what I did was I have water and a small paintbrush. You can't see it, but it's back here. I'm going to take that, and on the tip part, so I have the big fat part in between, oops, I'm sorry, in between my 2 fingers. You can see that. But that small teardrop tip is exposed. It's facing outward. And actually on the front, I am going to cover that with a small bit of water. Okay? And then where I want this to go on Big Bird, it'll be hard to see on Big Bird because he's covered so much on his head. But I added some water there. And now I'm going to take that front part, and basically I'm going to apply that onto Big Bird, but I'm going to add pressure so that it almost bends. See that? It's going to bend, and then that top part is going to stick up. Can you see that? Hopefully you saw what I did. It's this one here, right there, and there it is. Okay? I'm going to do the other 2. Hopefully you'll be able to see that again. So we'll add a little water to the front, a little water where we're going to apply it on Big Bird. And you have more of a, when it comes on, it's actually like arched. So you put that little teardrop part down, and the rest of it is arched. Okay? And you can use, oh, it's coming off, apply more water. And you can use the other side of the paintbrush to help you kind of apply it and make sure it's firm.
You want me to catch?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You want me to go?
You said no.
Okay.
We're going to the movies at 5:15.
Okay. Oh yeah, today's the 25th. Something's coming out, right? Am I going to? I want to go. See you, honey. Okay, I applied that 3rd piece onto Big Bird. And then to get the texture, what I do is I use my cuticle cutters and I snip. And normally I would let it dry a little bit more so that I know at the very least it's stuck in its spot and it's not going to move around. Okay? And that's how we got the texture. I hope you could see that. I hope you were able to see how I did that texture. Okay? Now for the large feathers that make up his body, I used the medium-sized cutter, which I had out a second ago. And now I can't find it, and I don't want to waste time. Here it is. Okay? So let's take this medium-sized paisley cutter. Hopefully you can see that. Let's cut out one big paisley teardrop. Okay? Then what I do, sometimes I hold it this way when I'm doing the feathers. Sometimes I hold the point. Okay? In this case, let's hold the point. What I do is I snip it before I put it on Elmo. I'm sorry, before I put it on Big Bird, to give the look of feathers. Okay, that's the timer letting me know we're 10 minutes into this video. I apply water to the back. And let's apply a small bit of water where I'm going to stick this feather. And I apply the feather. Let's do another one. And this time, let's hold the fat part and cut and glue and glue and glue. And as you can see, now he is Big Bird with texture. And, you know, these can overlap. Keep doing them. Okay, and you don't want them to all look the same. That's what gives them the interesting texture. So you're just snipping along, and you add another one. Okay, so hopefully you can see there, I've got enough here for one more. Just take your scissors and snip away in no particular pattern. Glue, add some glue to his body. And you just keep going until you cover his back. And there you go. Uh-oh, when you're done, you have a textured Big Bird. I hope this was helpful, and I'm curious to know your thoughts. Thank you, and I will see you at my next video.